Okay, welcome to the tutorial for the opening of the ace, the 4 ace trick. Now, how this works is first, of course, I show the deck to be a regular deck of cards, and I get the spectator to cut the deck as many times as they like, and then I lead off the ace of spades here by putting it on the bottom of the deck. Now what has happened here is actually the deck is set up so they can cut the deck as many times as they like, and it just shifts the cards around, and when you look for the ace of spades, it just simply resets the deck back to its original setup. And the setup goes this way. The other following aces are actually sitting, the first, it can be any of the other 3 aces, of course. The first ace is the 20th card from the top of the face down deck. So if we count, I won't bother counting, but it's the 20th card in the deck, and then the second ace is the 31st card from the top of the deck, and the third ace is the 44th card from the top of the deck, and lastly, of course, the ace of spades being the 52nd card at the bottom of the deck. That's the setup, and you can leave the deck aside after you've moved the ace to the bottom, and then it's time to do the mathematical part of the trick. Now, how this works is if you follow exactly how I showed in the effect, when you ask them first to write their year of birth, it's the 4-digit year, 19 whatever, or 2000 and whatever. Of course, they wouldn't be very old after 2000, but anyways, regardless, you could still probably perform it. So you write the year of birth, and you get them to write a memorable year. It can be any year, it doesn't matter. The important thing happens next. When you go for the 2-digit numbers that seem quite random, really what it is okay, I'll just write my years again that I use, 1971 and 1989 in my case. Now, I wrote my age. I had to add 1 because I haven't had my birthday yet this year. It's important that you mention that. So I add 1 to my age to make it 39. This is important because when you add their age to their year of birth, you will see that it actually adds up to 2010, the present year. And the same goes for their memorable year. When you ask them to jot down how many years ago that this particular date happened, it just seems like a random 2-digit number at the time when they write down that this happened, in my case, 21 years ago. When you add 21 to that year, that will also add up to the present year, 2010. So you can see now, when you add all these numbers together, you're actually adding 2010 to 2010, which brings you, of course, to 4020. So needless to say, no matter what years they choose, they will always arrive at this 4020 answer. And of course, this version of the trick, you only have basically 6 months to perform it because of course it's based on 2010. But of course you can figure out how the 2011 version would work, and the 2012 and so on. Based on these principles, you're going to have slightly different answer. If it's 2011, you're going to have 4022 instead of 4020. But again, when you proceed to do the list of 2-digit numbers, you're going to have slightly different 2-digit numbers, and you'll just have to figure out the new positions in the deck for the aces and so forth. So anyways, based on, let's go back to here, let's see, 4020 was the original answer. You can see that you can only get 4 2-digit numbers out of that. So you got 24, 40, 20, 42, and that's all you can get. So and then you ask them to list them from the least 2-digit number to the greatest 2-digit number. And you know, in the effect, of course, I mentioned about you may have more numbers, and you know, I just made up, you know, I just added that to just kind of throw you off a bit so that it wasn't too obvious for the effect. But really, of course, you're going to have these numbers in the final part of this trick anyways. So then, having the deck set up the way I showed you, it'll work out always that when you start with the least number 20 and then work up to 24, 40, and 42, when you deal just the way you saw in the effect, you will arrive at all the aces. So here I'll just show you, well, actually it'll take me a while so I won't bother, but you know what I mean. From the effect, you'll just follow exactly how I did it there. We're dealing the cards, starting with 20, then to 24, to 40, and 42. Remember, after you deal the cards, when you deal the, you know, the 20 cards, you take the 20th card, or the 24th card, or the 40th card, etc. You set that aside, and then make sure you just drop the rest of the pack on top, just like so, and then you can do the next count. And then when you arrive at the number, the card that's at that number, you set aside, drop the rest of the cards on top, and continue the count again until you've got all 4 cards. And of course, the fourth and last card will be the ace of spades. You can set that in the open like that and reveal it as the ace of spades that was originally moved in the cut in the beginning, and then you can reveal the rest of the aces, and that's that. So again, I hope that makes sense, and hope you liked it, and thanks for watching.